Hello everyone, welcome back to the Professor Geek channel. I'm Professor Geek, and I hadn't planned on making this video today. The video that I was going to make next, which I still am going to, is going to be a playthrough of the Knights of the Old Republic. Will probably happen, possibly I might do a session of it tonight, but certainly tomorrow night, or Sunday or something like that, this weekend before Christmas. And the goal is to play through the entire game so that those who don't have the right consoles or have never played the game, just aren't gamers or whatever, but still want to break into the glorious Old Republic era of the EU, they can still experience the story of this wonderful foundational part of the Old Republic era. And you really need that story. It's never really been in novelization. Summaries just never really do it justice. The fans write up and stuff like that. So I wanted to do a story playthrough where people could experience it. And that'll still happen. But today, I've received a number of people by now have contacted me saying, "Did you see the last episode of The Mandalorian?" Or, "You were wrong, The Mandalorian's amazing." And they say things like, "The Mandalorian redeemed Luke Skywalker. It was everything everything you've warned against about it is wrong. Last episode was amazing." These are bold claims. Let me check it out. Now, I don't watch The Mandalorian. I won't. I've been vocal about that and the reasons why, which I'll recap some throughout the duration of this video. But I read the recap of the episode. The summary of the episode, and this is what happens. If for some reason you actually want to watch it, then you don't want to watch this video, because I'm going to tell you. At the end of the episode, when, spoiler alert, the Mandalorian had been told by Ahsoka, because Ahsoka has to be a part of everything, that he should take Grogu, the little baby Yoda thing, to Tython, and everybody got, "Oh, he mentioned Tython from the EU." Yeah, but it's not the Tython from the EU. They're cherry-picking and throwing out these little things to try and get people excited, even though they're not even concerned about doing it in context. Take him to Tython, and a Jedi will hear him if you put him on the top of this thing, and blah, 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 blah. Well, the Jedi ends up being Luke Skywalker. They've computer animated to make him look young, and they've got Mark Hamill's voice. R2-D2 shows up. Member berries. Just trying to get people excited and to placate them. Okay, well, Luke Skywalker shows up. What does he do? He takes Grogu and walks away. How is that even remotely redeeming him? In the Disney continuity, so what? If Grogu stays with him, he'll grow up to be about 19 or so and then get slaughtered by Kylo Ren, right? And this is all before Luke tries to kill Kylo, or after whatever Luke tries to kill Kylo and then reverts to being a hermit and runs away from the world and blah, blah, blah. How is this remotely redeeming Luke? People say things like, "Oh, you're so negative, and you gotta have hope, and it's, they might just retcon the sequel trilogy." They might do a lot of things. It's possible they could bring Timothy Zahn in to write the screenplay for the Thrawn trilogy. It's possible they could do all these wonderful things. Just because something's possible doesn't mean you stop calling out what's wrong with what is, and you suddenly just sit on your hands and hope. "Oh, we're hoping." Now, you can do that if you want. You can do that. There's nothing in the world stopping anybody from watching that show and choosing to enjoy it on their own. But they don't. They have this pathological need to silence, my daughter in the background on her monitor, to silence anybody from criticizing the show. They don't want to hear criticism. Not even that they don't want to hear it. This is a YouTube... You know what I'm going to say about The Mandalorian. If I talk about Star Wars content and it's about Disney content, you know what I'm going to say about it. How hard is it for you just to simply avoid that video? Not hard at all. But that's not good enough. They don't want people speaking out against it because they're nervous. They're insecure on some level. This is just the truth. If they weren't insecure, they'd just be enjoying The Mandalorian, and who cares what Professor Geek says or any of the other people say about The Mandalorian. They've got it, they enjoy it, whatever. It's not enough for them. They need to try and silence any dissent, because on some level, they know they're on shaky ground. They know that this probably isn't going to turn out the way they want it to turn out. But if they can just somehow pull the wool or somehow get everybody on board thinking this is going to happen, I don't know what they're thinking. If they think that the positive energy will force it into the universe or what. But that's just simply not the case. What they're doing by all of these excitements, because, "Oh, Luke showed up in The Mandalorian. Aren't you excited?" No. And they try to shame you for it. They try, "Oh, you're just..." And I've heard all this garbage before. Every time when I was calling out all of the necessary things that needed to be called out against Dan DiDio and his handling of DC Comics, Oh, you're just obsessed, Prof. You're getting obsessed. You're so negative now. I remember when you used to point out the good things too, and blah 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 blah. This happens so every so often. It's cyclical. People come into the channel and they like what I'm saying about franchise X that they also have problems with. But as soon as I point out the critical things about franchise Z that they, for some reason, decided they just want to like, they're done being critical at this point. And they just want to be positive, and they don't. Suddenly, I'm the one who's changed, and I'm the one who's nihilistic and negative and blah blah blah. Simply not the case, folks. I've been here the same as I've always been. I'm doing the same thing now that I've always done, and I'll continue to do it. And it's not negative. Negativity, critical thinking is not negativity. Pointing out the problems with the franchise is not negativity. Okay, maybe you got a good episode. Maybe, and I haven't watched it, but maybe Ahsoka's handling in that episode of Mandalorian was fine. Maybe she didn't do anything Mary Sue-ish in that episode. That's not the end of the issue, folks. It's not. If you want to put your blinders on and just enjoy that episode for what it's worth, that's fine. Your choice. You can do that. But you're not contributing, or you're not helping to get ultimately true Star Wars content from Disney in the future. You are saying, yep, I'm happy with the bone that you threw me. Good, I'm happy, I'm on board, I support you. And you can say things like, well, I mean, I'm not blindly supporting, I'm just being cautious. But hey, we have to work with them, we have to work with Disney. And no, you don't. What kind of Stockholm Syndrome is this? You don't have to work with them at all. It is perfectly fine for Star Wars to effectively simply die as far as current media goes. Let it go dormant for 10 years or so, if not more. If that has to happen for somebody, be it Disney at that point or somebody else, to come along and treat it well and actually go back and pick up the pieces of what was before Disney came to it and do some good stuff with it, hey, that's fine with me. Most people haven't read all of the EU. And I tell them about it, and this sounds really good. Yeah, well, I'm just hoping that Disney gets it together, because the prospect of reading a bunch of books is just terrifying to them. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, can't handle the idea of reading a bunch of books. Can I just have it in a movie or a TV show that I can just watch? It's not being negative to call out the critical issues here. Now, with what Luke Skywalker showed up in The Mandalorian did he do anything contrary to his nature? No. If you're excited to see Mark Hamill's voice with a digitized, picture of his face or whatever, or computer animate, whatever the word is there they use for it, whatever. The problem is, if you step back for a second and look at what this is doing, Disney has just released that they're going to have all these different series now. Just logically think about this for a second. Maybe you're wonderfully happy with what Disney's done with The Mandalorian. Do you truly think it's likely that they are going to give that kind of Mandalorian treatment to every single one of those series that they're putting out? No, they're not. Now, answer yourself this. How are they able? How are they able to put out all those different series? Because of the success of The Mandalorian. Because so many vast numbers of people who had previously been calling out the problems with Star Wars, and the ones who were boycotting Solo, the Star Wars story, and made it flop at the box office, the one who are calling out issue after issue after issue in The Last Jedi, to where Rise of Skywalker was this weird little sort of apology, but sort of we're still bowling ahead anyway kind of thing that happened. Disney saw that. Disney took notice. So Disney threw a bone out. And because most people jumped on that bone and it's like, yay, we're happy now. Then Star Wars says, good, take this bone with this hand and don't pay any attention to the other series we're putting out with this hand. Maybe a couple of them will have the Mandalorian treatment. I can guarantee you all of them won't. And I can guarantee you that Ahsoka Tano is going to be the glue that holds that whole little Disney Plus series universe together. She'll show up in every series. I guarantee it, because Dave Filoni cannot not use his precious character there. He overuses her and extends her. He can never kill her. She never dies. She has to be a part of every important episode or event that happens in Star Wars. She wasn't a bad character. There's a good place for Ahsoka and a good solid end for Ahsoka. She's a good character like any other when she's not misused. She has been misused even in the Clone Wars series. But when she's not misused, there's a place for her. But, Dave Filoni can't hear that. Can't have it. Won't hear it. Nope. She's got to live forever. She's got to be a part of everything. And she will. I guarantee it. Mark my words. She will be a guest starring in every single series, if not more so. Of course, she's going to have her own series, which I'm 99% sure, not maybe 99% sure, but I guarantee you that's going to be some sort of try to springboard her into the next whatever they're going to do with that era. What if they are going to try and bastardize the Thrawn trilogy? They'll make her the thread that holds it together and get you there. Because Disney, the same people still run Disney. The same people who did the sequel trilogies are still running Disney. The same agenda that ran the sequel trilogies. Like, we got to make a female the head character, and we got to do this, and that. All of that stuff over story. It's not a problem that the female's the main character, but the fact that that's over story, agenda over story, those people are still in control at Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, Lucasfilms, or whatever. Now, they got Jon Favreau to do this other thing, and Jon Favreau is incredibly crazy talented, and it's going to be good quality, anything he does. But Filoni's involved, and Filoni is not the chosen one, folks. He's not the one that's going to save Star Wars. Go back and look at those talks he gave, talking about how clearly Princess Leia was, or Darth Vader was afraid of Princess Leia. That's why he sent her away and didn't interrogate her, and blah, blah, blah. Pandering, and he's one of them. He's lockstep with that agenda. He is. And you can hear this in things, even way back from the Clone Wars days, how he would disregard Lucas at every turn, just wanted his own way, would claim that he's doing this or that for the EU fans, but clearly didn't know anything about the EU. He's involved, so it's going to be failing content there. But Disney, who wants this agenda still pushed, and they see that the old fans just simply are making too many problems for them. The sequel trilogy did not go over like they wanted it to because of these stubborn old fans that wouldn't get on board. Throw out Ahsoka, though, because enough of those old fans somehow have convinced themselves that there's nothing wrong with the handling of Ahsoka whatsoever. No, everything she did in Siege of Mandalore was perfectly understandable. She's not a Mary Sue at all, blah, blah, blah. So Disney is going to put their money on Ahsoka. I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing it. They're going to put their money on Ahsoka. She is going to be the vehicle. She's got her own solo series now. She's going to be a part of all these different series, I guarantee it. And she will be the vehicle for going forward because Disney says, we can put all of our agenda, everything that we put in the sequel trilogy, we can put into Ahsoka, and people won't see it. They either won't see it because they're so already committed to defending her and to defending Dave Filoni and all that kind of stuff, or they'll just decide that they're tired of being critical and they want to be positive now and just swallow anything that Disney gives them, thinking it might work out okay. It's not. And I and other people who are looking at this critically are not going to just roll over for you. We're going to continue to call it out. And you can try and shame us, and you can try and kick up a fit and pitch a hissy fit in the comments or whatever. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you truly didn't care what we had to say, if and I'm just mean that for the people in general, the Star Wars fans in general who lose their minds online, if they truly didn't care what people had to say and they were just going to enjoy The Mandalorian, and you can say what you want, they like it, and they're going to continue to like it, then they wouldn't care what you had to say. They wouldn't be here, they wouldn't be fussing at you, they wouldn't be trying to shut you down, they wouldn't be trying to dissent or shame you like this way or that way, calling you, what have I been called? I've been called a nihilist, I've been called obsessed, negative, and it's nothing new. Again, I've been called that cyclically, at different times throughout my YouTube career, because suddenly I won't get on board with the major culture. Oh, he doesn't like the Joker movie? Oh, he's gone too far now, he's just way too negative. Nope, doing the same thing I always did, folks. And people do hear my arguments, and they come on board with me. They do. They're thinking for themselves, but they see the evidence. I can't tell you how many people have told me, I was really a fan of Zack Snyder's treatment of Batman and stuff like that until I saw your videos about archetypes, and I realized, yeah, that's not the right handling of that. Or, I thought Disney was kind of interesting what they do with Star Wars until I heard what you talked about how the character should be treated, and I thought, yeah, that's not actually how it did that. That's what people are afraid of. People who just want to enjoy this and want it to continue and want every dissenting voice to shut up are afraid that more people will kind of open their eyes to that. Sorry, it's going to continue to happen. Disney will try to shut down and censor that, and its fans and people who got this idea that, well, we just have to work with them. Nothing's going to be perfect. No, the original trilogy wasn't perfect, but it was amazing, and it was right in line with the universe. The EU isn't perfect, but it's in line with the spirit of the Star Wars original trilogy. Stop with that argument that it has to be perfect. No one's saying anything has to be perfect. You're using that, you're straw-manning our argument is what you're doing by calling us negative or blah, blah, blah. No, there are problems, there are real dangers ahead, there are red flags all over The Mandalorian, and I'm talking about it simply its existence, the way they're using it to placate people so that they can then do what they want. They're not going to care what you say. Once they put out all these other series, and then suddenly you start kicking up a fit, they don't care. You've been already on board for Mandalorian. And you'll come back when they put out another season. You know you will. So who cares what you have to say? Who cares what you have to say? You're essentially neutered as far as Disney's concerned. you're not any trouble to them anymore. They know how to get you. They know how to hook you. So, why should they care? That's all I'll say on this now. I can probably go on for a bit, but it just, as cool as I'm sure it's very cool to see Mark Hamill's voice with Luke Skywalker. Hey, Luke Skywalker, he's a personal hero. But I don't trust Disney. I don't trust even Jon Favreau under Disney. And, I think it's a mistake to. I think it's kind of naive to. Now, you can privately just want to. That's fine. You can just privately enjoy those shows. That's great. That's what you want to do, and you want to secretly hope for it or openly hope for it, fine. But stop pretending that the whole world has to shut their mouths and get on board with you, because that's just not how adults act, and that's not how this is going to work. So we're going to continue to speak out about it and continue to call out the problems with it. If you have a problem with it, don't call us the dark side. You're the ones enforcing and insulting anybody who doesn't disagree with you, or agree with you. So that's all for now. Stay tuned for the playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic, which is an amazing story, really great. I mean, for a video game too, really pretty darn good writing for a video game. I would say pretty spectacular writing for a video game. It took place in 2001, 2002. The story of the universe there with the Revan and Malak, having done all these things with the Mandalorians and the Jedi. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And we'll play through that, and I'll be doing more EU content. Of course, after the new year, we're going to do the Kenobi book study, the John Jackson Miller novel called Kenobi, which is the story of Obi-Wan settling into Tatooine after the events of Episode 3 and watching over Luke as an infant and so forth. It's a wonderful story. I can guarantee you the Kenobi series that Disney wants, because of the way that Disney has treated Kenobi, Dave Filoni in particular has treated Kenobi. Look at the way they treated him during the Siege of Mandalore. And Ewan McGregor. Remember all the things Ewan McGregor was coming out to say in support of Birds of Prey and whatnot? They are going to make Kenobi go to Tatooine in the Disney series and do his man penance. He's going to be doing his man penance, and Ahsoka's going to have to show up. She knows she is. She's going to show up. There'll be a couple other strong, independent women characters showing up, showing him how to do the way. He's going to be there lost, like a little lost puppy, and suddenly has to build his faith again and all this kind of stuff. It's going to be garbage. That's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's an aspirational hero. He does not do that. That's not the treatment of him. And John Jackson Miller got that with his novel Kenobi. So we're going to do a book study of that and look at all the amazing story that's there and the wonderful ways. It's a great story. It really shows Obi-Wan in his wonderful aspirational element, and it's a great story. A lot of tension, a lot of stakes. Good stuff. So stay tuned for that after the new year. And yeah, lots more content to come, but until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love.